morning and welcome to the Grand Sports Center. It's the very first edition for the year 2021 and it's good to be here with you. We're starting on this very not too pleasant note, coming a bit late, and but then it's good to be here. It's going to be an abridged version of the edition of the program actually, as we'll be using the next 30 minutes to ensure that we catch up with the latest happenings in the world of sports, as we usually do on the program. So let me use this opportunity to say Happy New Year to all of you, because this is the first time we're actually coming your way for the year 2021. I'm Donald Agbavobo, and as you can see, I'm flanked as usual on my right and my left by my colleagues. Blessing Bassi. Blessing, it's good to have you here with us in 2021.
Yes, it's a pleasure.
And
thank God for the new year.
Austin Arume is always here too.
It's always good to be here, and happy new year.
Yes, we're all happy to be with you for this year and promise you not just this edition, but the entire year, bumper editions of the program Grand Sports Center. For today, we shall be looking at the CAF Champions League second leg, first round qualifiers, where we see Eyimba will be taking on El Marek. Eyimba lost the first leg by 3-0 in Sudan, and they have the opportunity to upturn the table today as they take on El Marek in the return leg match in Aba. And also the Golden Eaglets will be taking on, will be participating in the WAFU B qualifiers, talking about qualifiers for the CAF Under-17 Championship. It's taking place in Togo. They will play their first match tomorrow against Cote d'Ivoire, but the competition starts today with the host country Togo taking on Niger. So we shall be looking at that tournament. And Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, the fight, the build-up to the fight is very much on. Talks are going on in terms of negotiating the contracts and all they need to do to ensure that the fight holds. As Tyson Fury is saying that he's ready for the fight and is threatening and is promising victory for himself. Says he feels Anthony Joshua has a fear factor. I wonder what he means by that. And he says it will knock him out in 2 rounds. Well, we shall be looking at that fight and also many more of the things happening in the world of sports in the next 30 minutes. Like we said, we're having an abridged edition of this program for today. So sit back and relax. We'll take a break and we'll come back. We'll go straight to the main issues. You're welcome back to the Grand Sports Center, and we'll start with the Eyimba El Marek match, which will take place today in Aba. Eyimba, like we know, lost the first leg by 3-0, and they're looking to bounce back in a big way today. Blessing, is this match a formality? Does Eyimba still have any chance at all? 3-0 is not a small result to overturn.
Well, they'll have to obviously try to make their way past that 3-0. Obviously, they have to score at least 4 goals ahead. That's so much, for Eyimba. But I should expect them to do pretty well, judging by the fact that, previously in their league matches, they've been obviously doing impressively well. So, let's expect the very best from their game today.
Yeah, Blessing is not sounding too optimistic. Arome, are you optimistic?
Yeah, in as much as I want to sound optimistic, American side, a very strong side in the continental, football. But then for Eyimba, what they must do in this game, if they want to progress, is to start on a very good note. You have to start with, with all your gun blazing. That's the only way you can overturn this kind of result. But then, in that first leg, they meet their main man, Victor Boma. Boma is back in the mix. So I believe they'll have to, have a good start in the first to 20 minutes. I think they should be they should score a goal or two. That's the only way you know how the team is serious. If they actually want to overturn this result, then in the first between 4 to 20 minutes, Emba should be 2-0 up, and that's the only result for them.
But also you and I know that football is not mathematics, as they say.
No.
Even if you don't score, they can score their 3 goals in the last 5 minutes of the match. So let's not pin it down to the fact that they must score in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah,
because,
but
if you say so, if you appear as if you don't score in the first 20 minutes, it means that the game is over for them.
Yeah, but it's not over. But then you must show that intention right from the blast of the whistle. So that's how it is done. Even if you don't score all the goals at the same time, but then just show that you are there in the game, and this is what will give you that confidence to move on. This is what will give you that morale, that you can score the next goal, and that's something they will have to do on that day.
Yes, and this match is taking place today, and well, it's not over yet, but we also have to brace ourselves for the worst. Should it happen that we're not able to get through, talking about Imba, they go into the CAF competition, Confederations Cup, and it means that Nigeria will not have a representative in the CAF Champions League for this year. I think this will be second time in a row that is happening, and the league has started finally, but would it have been, is it coming a bit too late, because probably the league has started earlier, would have been this kind of precarious situation they find themselves right now?
Well, like they said, it's not over until it's over. We actually expected we had high expectations for Eyiba, especially the fact that they were part of the CAF Champions League games. But at the same time, they have an home advantage. I'm sure they must have, one way or the other, checked their errors from the last match against Emerek. So the fact that Emerek is coming in, they should bring in that positive spirit into the game. They should be physically fit, to play that game. Bring in that positive spirit. Start on a high, on a better note. Like Austin said, the first half they should give him those goals in the very first half of the game, so that they'll have
more relaxed,
exactly,
not be under too much pressure.
Mood. Yes.
Well, we wish them the best of luck tomorrow. Rivers United will be taking on Bloemfontein Celtic. That one is a much more relaxed one for Nigeria, because Rivers United won the first leg in South Africa with 2 goals to 0. But again, like we always say, it's not over until it's over. So we shall be talking about that match maybe tomorrow when we come your way on the program. We'll take a break, and when we return, we shall be looking at the WAFU B CAF qualifiers taking place in Togo. The Golden Eaglets are taking on Cote d'Ivoire tomorrow, but the competition starts today with the host country Togo taking on Niger. We shall be looking at that tournament when we come back from this break. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center, and like we said earlier, the WAFU CAF on the WAFU B CAF on the 17 qualifiers start today in Togo, and the host country Togo will be taking on Niger. Nigeria, the flight represented by the under 17 national team, the Golden Eaglets, will be taking on Cote d'Ivoire tomorrow in the same competition. Well, we had a very not too pleasant experience with the Flying Eagles in their own competition, but then this is the Golden Eaglets. What is the NFF doing this time that is different from what they did before, in terms of ensuring that this time around what happened, the feed that before the Flying Eagles, not before the Golden Eaglets? We understand that they've actually sent an advance party ahead that they didn't do with the Flying Eagles, and they've also they went to Togo with about 35 players, whereas the Flying Eagles went to Benin with just about 20 players, which means they are doing something differently. Should we expect better results from the Golden Eaglets this time around, at least something better than what the Flying Eagles did?
Yeah, I think we should expect a better result from the Golden Eaglets, compared to what the Flying Eagles did. They should, know that Nigerians are obviously looking up to them, especially the fact that the Flying Eagles did not perform pretty well in their games, and they are playing against a Cote d'Ivoire side, which is a strong one too. But we should expect, like we talked about the NFF. The NFF is, you know, trying, you know, the NFF is obviously a step ahead now, considering the things they've tried to do and everything surrounding the surrounding players and what they've obviously put in place, which is a step in the right direction. So I want to believe that the Flying Eagles going into the Wafubi, sorry, the Golden Eaglets going into Wafubi competition will obviously make us proud at the end of the day.
Yes, they say once bitten, twice shy. So the NFF not leaving any stone unturned this time around, because after missing out in the under 20 tournament, I don't think any excuse will be enough, good enough if the Golden Eaglets fail to actually qualify.
Yeah, and interestingly, we're in the same group with the same Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. Yeah. This is actually our chance to get our revenge, to get our pound of flesh. And I'm happy, with what the NFF they've done this time. It shows, they are committed on their own part. And then the under 17 team, the Golden Eaglets, this is one of the most successful, team Nigeria, has ever, produced, in the sense that Nigeria at the under 17 level are 5 times world champion. So I believe that's, in my mind, I believe this team will actually, do better than the under 17 on the Flying Eagles team that went to Togo the last time.
Yes, and the Flying Eagles coach Madame Bosso is already talking. Is actually complaining, not complaining actually, but it appears that he's not too happy because some of the things that the Golden Eaglets are enjoying, his team did not actually enjoy. So did it have to take the Flying Eagles not performing well for the football authorities to actually know what they're supposed to do? Because there's a price we are paying for this now. The Flying Eagles will not be participating in the CAF Under 20 Championship when it officially holds in Mauritius, and it means that generation, those category of players that were under that age limit will not have the opportunity of playing at that level, and we know what this means for their development as players.
Well, I don't think so. I feel the football authorities obviously know what's best to do. Maybe they obviously did do it at a particular point in time, but now that they've put modalities in place, we should, what we need to do is to just sit back, think positive and expect, good results at the end of the day when it comes to footballing, football basically. I feel like also said, the Golden Eaglet has what it takes, to bounce back, from what has happened,
to the Flying Eagles.
With the Flying Eagles.
Yes, indeed, and then we know that just like you mentioned, the pedigree of Nigeria at this level of competition. But then, is it just about pedigree, or there's something about this team that gives you hope? Looking at their friendly matches they've played and everything, is this a team that Nigeria should actually be thinking positively about?
Yeah, I think one thing about the Golden Eaglets, from previous time up to this moment, is that we've never lacked players at that under 17 level. But then when it comes to taking it to the next level, that is where our problem lies, and that is why I'm actually quite optimistic about the under 17 team, unlike the under 20 teams where the league was not on, and they had to bring all those players from different local clubs, and they brought them together, and that was the result we got there. But then this under 17 team, I believe with the right mindsets, they can actually go ahead and qualify, and even win the African under 17 Nations Cup.
So we wish the Golden Eaglets the very best of luck. Like we said earlier, they will start the competition. They will play their first match tomorrow against Cote d'Ivoire, but then the competition proper starts today with the host nation Togo taking on Niger. We shall take a break, and when we return, we shall be talking boxing. Tyson Fury is talking tough ahead of his potential fight against Anthony Joshua. He says he will knock Joshua out in 2 rounds. Well, we'll talk about that when we return from this short break. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center. And in boxing, Tyson Fury is in the news. He's talking tough ahead of his potential fight against Anthony Joshua. And he says Joshua has confidence problem. The bottom line is that he said he would knock Joshua out in 2 rounds, inside 2 rounds. So that's real. That's big talk. Is he just trying to stir off? To actually cause some ripples, so that in the build up to the match, so that there'll be much more attention and much as the negotiations take place, the build up to the match has started. Is he just trying to how do I put it now, be in the spotlight to ensure that the fight gets the ratings the world has been talking about, or does it really mean it when he says that Joshua has confidence problem? Joshua actually beat Kubrat Pulev, and he actually beat Pulev, won almost all the rounds. And for Fury to say Tyson Joshua has confidence problem is really speaking the truth.
Well, I think Tyson Fury, like you said, is trying to build confidence. Trying to gain as much people to himself as possible, or supporters. Let me put it that way. Obviously, we should expect things like this, to come up. I expected it, if you'd ask me. Remember what happened to Pulev the last time before he, came
boxers always talk. That's one thing about they always talk. But Anthony Joshua, too, basically looking at this, well, to a large extent, looking at the statement by Tyson Fury, because he wasn't too convincing against Ruiz before Pulev, but with Pulev fight, it was this. It was getting back to Joshua we used to know. So, but do you see any element of truth in what Fury is saying?
I don't think there's an element of truth in that. Just like you said, I think he's only trying to garner a lot of traction for the match, in the build up to the match, and that's how boxing works. You get to talk like this at times, just to hype the game. But then for him to say that Anthony Joshua lacks confidence, I think he's just trying to play mind game. And I just want to go back to what Vladimir Klitschko said one time. He said it after his match with Joshua, when they were saying, a lot of people were saying Joshua will not be able to fight Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Even Vladimir Klitschko said it. I said Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, that they might not be able to withstand Anthony Joshua after he faced Anthony Joshua. I'm coming from a professional boxer, who is one of the best in the game. I believe he's actually right in that regard. And the problem of Anthony Joshua is not actually confidence. It's actually overconfidence, not actually lack of confidence. And I think that was what played against him in that first match against Andy Ruiz.
And of course, we understand that negotiations are almost concluded regards the fight holding, and then even the splits, how the money will be split, is already being done, and which means that we may likely actually see this fight sometime this year.
Yes.
How good would that be?
It's going to be a very interesting one. Obviously, a lot of fans will obviously be looking up to that big fight. I want to believe that this fight is going to bring a lot of apart from the entertainment aspect of it, it's going to bring a lot of revenue. That's one thing basically with boxing, the fact that they'll get to talk about it, and the fact that at the end of the day it's going to bring revenue, and it's going to be much more entertaining. So we'll look forward to a big fight.
Yes, he was even talking about the Floyd Mayweather Manny Pacquiao fight that eventually took place. You know, those are how the build up was. They were called the two best pound for pound fighters, and for a long time there was this speculation: would they fight? Would they fight? Eventually, the fight held, and then Floyd Mayweather won at the end of the day, and it's likening his own fight with Anthony Joshua to that fight, and he's saying that that's the same scenario is painting now. So, but again, in terms of fanfare, in terms of the huge crowd and the traffic is generating, how do you rate it as in Fury, Anthony Joshua fight, and the Pacquiao Floyd Mayweather fight?
I think the Pacquiao Mayweather fight, I think Pacquiao was a little bit distracted at that point in time because he went into politics, and at that point he was thinking of fights and he was also thinking of politics, and I think that was actually affected his performance a bit.
Looking at the heat and the fanfare and all the surrounding the build up to the fight.
Yeah.
Now, is it the same thing we are seeing with what happened between Pacquiao and Mayweather and this Tyson's Fury and Anthony Joshua fight? That's what I'm saying.
I don't think it's the same thing in the sense that back then fans were allowed in, and it's not going to be the same this time. It's going to be you watching from your home, so it's not going to give that feel. You know what the fans bring to the sport. If the fans are not there, I think it's going to affect the sports a bit because that background noise will not be there. And when fans are in the stadium, they tend to give that morale to the fighters. So generating traffic wise, this match on a normal day would have been way ahead of that match, but then because of the fact that fans are not going to be allowed into the arena, so I think it's going to affect this fight a little bit.
Yes, indeed. So, well, we wish them the best of luck because that is the fight the world is waiting for, and at least let's just get it done once and for all. This fight has been on for almost 2 years now, and finally, let's hope that the deal will be signed. And sometime this year, we'll get to see those two boxers get into the ring and slug it out. And then we know once and for all who actually is the best or who is better. So this is where we wrap it up on the Grand Sports Center for today. Like I said, Eli was going to be a bridge edition of the program. But tomorrow, we will come in your way full time from beginning to the end. And we'll be here to serve you the very best of sports on the Grand Sports Center. Thank you for being there for us. Like I always tell you, it's always nice to be here with you every day of the week to actually talk sports. It's a new year, 2021. If we did it well last year, we promise to do it better this time around. So join us tomorrow, same time, same station, for the interesting edition of the program. I want to thank Blessing Bassi for being part of the show for today.
It's a pleasure.
And Austin Arume.
I'm always happy to be here.
Donald Agbavobo on behalf of 3 of us and the other members of the production crew that are working, doing a marvelous job behind the scene. I want to wish you a very lovely day ahead.